no me quieres, de mí tan solo tú te ríes.
What is that thing? That messed up, man. What's up, everybody? It's Albert Campo with Joel, the CantinaMX podcast again. Yeah, I messed that up because I didn't turn off the volume. It was probably an echo.
It was our set song dedicated to all the teams that are currently on the outside looking in, with their prospects to Liguilla and also Veracruz, who are officially relegated. Well, not technically relegated, we should say, since the league said they could buy their way back in for $6 million.
Yeah.
Don't see the point of having relegation, but how you doing, Chiquis?
Hey, doing good. Yeah, there were a lot of news, I guess, with over the weekend and even in this past or today and the past couple of days. So a lot to talk about. The Clásicos
Yes.
happened.
Welcome to the Alexa Prize, a university competition to advance AI.
What's going on there, Chiquis?
Alexa.
Did we get hacked?
Alexa's doing stuff.
Did we get hacked again? Oh, it's Alexa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the league. So we just got through match week 11 of Liga MX, and we got some interesting things here. León, for example, they are still king of the hill. The Fierras rugiendo. They claimed first place last week, and they've held on to it, and they're battling it out with the other beast being Tigres. So they're tied in points, 26 points each. And I did my homework, Chiquis. I actually did it. So in head-to-head, they tied 2-2. So what separates right now León, it's their goal differential. They have. So they've scored 25 goals. They've only allowed 6. So I'm pretty sure they have the best right now. The best the best attack and the best defense.
León's lighting it up.
Yeah, they're pretty surprised. I don't think many people were expecting them to be this good at the start of the season.
The Liga MX website has a good positions by week.
Yes.
And it's a comparison between León and Tigres, and they started off even, but then León went down in week 3 they were down to 14th, and Tigres was up around 7. And it's like a chart that it's just like a line chart. Yeah. And then around week 6, León all the way climbs up and meets Tigres close to it. And then around week 9 is when, or week 10 is when León overtakes them. So yeah, they didn't start off well at all, and then they just came up and surged.
Yeah, we'll talk about Tigres in a bit because they're pretty interesting as well. Because yeah, they had a pretty lackluster start, but León deserves a lot of credit right now. They recently defeated. Who did they beat, Chiquis? They beat I have it right here, man. And I was prepared, Chiquis. This is me being prepared.
León or Tigres, you mean?
No, man. We're León because they're
León.
They're a top. They beat Veracruz 2-0.
Yeah, Veracruz.
Yeah.
In the news lately.
Which as we were saying, were relegated. So they put that nail in that coffin, at least for what the season is. And their next opponent is Morelia, who are another team that should be easy to beat. Morelia is in 16th place, not doing too good. So I think León could continue holding on unless Tigres goes on you know, on a goal scoring spree, but it seems a bit unlikely that they're going to do it. So we could see Leon at the top for one more week, and by this point, we could easily say they will be in Liguilla, and they're going to be a tough team to beat. And they got two really good players, man. The Angel Mena, he's the top goal scorer right now in the league, 9 goles, and they also have with six goals, JJ Mack, who is the loan from Chivas, just causing a lot of stress for the Chi hermanos who can't find the back of the net. And so here's this 19-year-old kid helping the Fieras to go, you know, to a really good season. Um, yeah. So Cholos. Leon hasn't lost since January. So that was the last time they lost, January 20th, and they lost to Cholos 1-0. And since then, they have 8 straight league wins. So that's very impressive. We could probably say 9. Uh, I don't see them losing to Morelia. How do you see their prospects, Chiquis, going into Liguilla and also once in Liguilla?
Well, I think things are looking very good for the rest of the league play because I was just looking at their schedule. Like you said,
Yeah.
Morelia, Necaxa, Puebla are the next 3 games. Then the fourth game coming up.
Necaxa's tough though, but Morelia and Puebla are fairly accessible.
Yeah, but then you
Yeah.
got Atlas. You got the two Guadalajara teams that are
Oh,
you
man.
can bully around, man. You
He
got
could
Atlas
bully
and
around.
Chivas.
Ouch.
Atlas and
Ouch.
Chivas,
Yes,
and then finally Pachuca. So I think they're going to do good. And the Liga is always tricky.
it is.
So I think it's gonna be tough, but you
It
never
is.
know.
But you know what? Having they say defense wins championships, man, and they have right now the best one so far, and they're doing good in both. In both ends, scoring goals and defending. And they have like a really good keeper in Cota, who was with Chivas. He helped them win all the titles during the Matia Almeida era. So and then just all the other players that they have, like as we said, Mena, and they have that other midfielder whose name I forget. He was gonna be the seleccionado man. Katang.
Luis Montes.
Luis Montes, exactly, who's won with Leon before. So they have players that they know how to win. So yeah, we should see Leon right there. They should be candidates. Pretty sure they are. Uh, and yeah, they're gonna be one of the teams. And then we have Tigres. And Tigres, yeah, like you said, Tigres wasn't doing too good, but all of a sudden, man, they turned on the heat. They've been firing on all cylinders. Tied with Leon at 26 points. They've scored 22 goals. They have allowed 8. So they're very close to Leon, as far as like goal scores and goals received. Um, and their last win was big 4-1 over Gallos, over Querétaro. And one thing we have to mention is that they've done it without Guignac. And so Guignac's been injured, and he's expected, I guess, perhaps by Liguilla, because I don't think they want to rush him. But here's an interesting thing: Guignac is still in the top goal scorer list with 6 goals, and he's missed like 6 games. Um, yeah, he hasn't played in 6 games, and Tigres has shown that they could win without him. And since the games he hasn't played, they have 4 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. So I think having a player like Guignac, if he's 100%, that's just gonna make Tigres that much more dangerous uh, once they're in Liguilla, and of course they have all this experience in every level, and their next match is gonna be a good one because they're facing America at the Azteca Stadium. So that's going to be for match week 12, one of the big games to watch.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest game. I was looking at the minutes. That's sort of interesting that Gignac, he's missed 2 games, but as far as minutes played, he is down a little bit. Macias has 505 minutes played, which is a lot less than Gignac. Gignac has 794, but the top 2 guys, Mena and Brian Fernandez, have 882, 819. So they have a game, a full 90 minutes above Gignac.
Yeah.
So Macias, I think he's got 6 goals, but he's got a way fewer minutes than anyone on the top 5.
Yes.
And then Funes Mori has some lower minutes as well, 754.
Yeah, with Macias, there's a stat going around, and if he's able to hit 10 goals, double digits, he'll be like the 3rd Mexican or 4th to hit that mark in the past 10 years, which is something we've talked about here that's worrisome. Just how few players have managed to do that. Then again, some of the better strikers are outside of the league, but that's no excuse, there should be more talent coming out the ranks, but that's a tema for another time. Let's move on to 3rd place, Monterrey, and this is a team that had tied with Tigres in the Clásico Regiomontano, and they finally lost their first game of the season. They lost to Cholos, and so they're in 3rd with 22 points, and they're still, despite despite this defeat, they're still very close to León and Tigres as far as offense and defense, because they've scored 23 goals and they've conceded 10. So and those are the only teams that have gotten over 20 goals. Only those 3 teams have managed to score over 20 goals. So that's and their next match is going to be a good one because they will face Cruz Azul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're playing them at home. So I mean, it should be a good. Those 2 games, they should say a lot because these are teams that could very well face each other in Liguilla. So Tigres America and Cruz Azul, Monterrey, and these were some of the protagonistas from the last playoffs. Especially with America and Cruz Azul having been in the final, and the 2 Monterrey teams, which were heavily favored as well. So that's going to be very interesting. And then going down to 4th, in 4th place, we have America with 19 points. And America's been, they just won the Clásico, man. Big 2-0 win at the Zombie Life. He handed Chivas a pretty tough defeat since they had played for the Copa. Well, they had eliminated Chivas in the Copa as well. So then a few days later, they go and they smack them again. So America's doing, they're pretty good now. They're in 4th, 19 points. They scored 18 goals. They've conceded 13. So not as contundente, as they say, as the top 3. But still, they're still a dangerous team. So that's why the Tigres game is going to be pretty big, because they're facing one of the stronger opponents. It's always good to see how they match up.
Yeah, I think the main difference with America has been Nico Castillo coming in. I noticed in the first Chivas game, he was subbed out in the second half, and he seemed, I think it was in the second half, he wasn't too happy. And then after the game, they asked him why, if he was upset and why, and he said he was upset because he wasn't at the level of playing that he wanted to be at. But then, I think he did very well on the game on Saturday as well. And they just hustled. Out hustled Chivas, and I don't think they're, like you said, they're not as top as the Leon team or as Leon and the Monterrey teams, but they have a good mixture of high level players and then just the hustle and the drive that they have.
Yeah, and they are the defending champions, Chiquis. So I mean, if they show one thing is that they know how to win. They know how to
Yeah,
win the big games. The tough games, which again we're gonna see when they face Tigres. We're gonna see how they match up.
yeah, they have. I mean, like I said, they're champions. They have experienced players, especially in the goalkeeper with Homie. What's his name?
Marquezin.
Marchesín. And
Yeah.
even though I guess today there's been a little bit of spouting of the mouth by Herrera. I don't know if you heard on Picante, he was saying that he pretty much just outed Henry Martin, saying that he's not, a well-rounded player such as Nico Castillo. He's not as rounded as Nico Castillo. He was sort of comparing the two, and it was sort of a lot of people saw that as like disrespectful to Henry Martin.
Yeah, that's always been Piojo's downfall. Sometimes his mouth, gets him in trouble.
That could affect. I don't think it should, but all those, Henry Martin and could get his feelings hurt. Things could happen. But in the locker room,
I do know Martin was looking for a contract extension, and he was looking to get more, more shekels and just overall more money, and so that's also in dispute. So who knows if he's just trying to tell him pull rank, hay niveles.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows what will happen there? And hopefully it's not a distraction for them, because America does want that doblete. They do want that Copa MX. They haven't won it since it got relaunched. And one thing we've noticed recently is some of the teams are beginning to take it a bit more serious, just because fans have begun giving it more importance. Or before they didn't care, now there's, now if you get eliminated from the cup, they get upset and they turn on the team. So I think that's one of their goals. So continuing here with the league. In fifth place, we have Cholos with 19 points. And they had a big win last week, which was 1-0 against Monterrey. And their next game is against Gallos Blancos. So they should stay on track, for Liguilla. And this is also a team that they started, they weren't looking too good. It didn't seem like Oscar Pareja was gonna stay long in Tijuana, and they haven't lost in league since January 26th. Their last defeat came against Cruz Azul. And since then they have 7-match undefeated streak, 6 wins, 1 draw. So that's a team that we should be keeping a closer eye on. Chiquis, I didn't pay much attention with Cholos. I couldn't tell you who their top player is. But we're going to have to start keeping notes, because they're looking Liguilla bound.
Yeah, they have a standout goalkeeper in Lahoud, and I guess they have some. Gubel is of course over there. I don't know.
Did you say Gubel, dude?
Yeah,
the
Gubel
former
Torres.
Chivas. He's scoring goals though.
I don't think recently, but he has previously. I think earlier in the season.
You know what? John is not here, but he could probably verify because Gubel was in MLS, and I'm not sure if he played under Pareja. So I confused the teams.
Oh no, he played in Houston. Pareja was with FC Dallas.
Ah, there you go. See,
Torres was with Houston. Yeah.
There you go. But I'm sure he must have known him a bit. I don't think it made a difference though. I think Cuba was there before him. Um, but yeah, I'm surprised Cuba was there. He
Yeah,
was at one point one of the. He was like trophies before there was a trophies,
uh
and he was doing good. He was doing really good in MLS. Then he came. They brought him back to Mexico, and they were trying to give him a hard push, and he ended up in this. This girl was claiming rape, and it was a big mess. And then nothing came of it. It turned out that she was trying to like get money from him. Um, but that just it hindered his career a bit.
and Cholos also is in Copa MX, so they'll play America. They're doing good all around.
Oh man, that's another
Surprisingly,
tough. That should be a good matchup right there. Um, yeah, Cholos. And then you mentioned El Brian, and El Brian he's one of the top goal scorers uh, with 9 with Alon Angel Mena. So Brian Fernandez for Necaxa, and we mentioned him because Necaxa is in 6th place.
Soon to be Brian Fernandez. Excuse me, of Club America.
Also, you know what? Wow, that would be interesting, Yon. If they do snatch him up, maybe, and then so can we see
and
Henry
Henry
Martin
Martin
going
is
to
going to be on the
Necaxa?
bench even more.
No, he'll go to Necaxa. It'll be the trade.
Oh,
It'll be the.
they're gonna diss him like that. Oh, that's messed up.
Oh, they've always done that. They've always sent players to Necaxa. They even sent Cuauhtemoc, man. If they send Cuauhtemoc, they'll send Henry Martin along with a 6-pack and a pallet of gancitos. You know,
Yeah.
there's, but maybe, hey, glad to have you on board, Yon. We weren't sure if
No,
you're
it's
gonna be
it's
able
good.
to
It's good
make.
to be with you guys. I'm actually up in the Dallas Fort Worth area tonight. Heading to Oklahoma tomorrow, but no, happy to be on. It's been
Oh,
a good week to have a podcast for sure.
we'll finish with Liga, and since you're on, then I guess we could do selección talk, but
Sure.
we're just profiling the top teams, and then we're gonna do a quick look
So
into
when
what
you
match
profile
week
top
12.
teams, does that mean that we're not including neither Chivas nor Pumas because they are no longer top teams?
Yeah, we don't have to, but we could talk about them since there is curiosity over those teams, and they will play each other in match week 12.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right.
so yeah, but let's make them wait, because then we get the quejas that we don't talk about the other teams. So here is Necaxa. So yeah, Necaxa's doing good, and they're in 6th place, and they should most likely stay there, or because they're playing Veracruz next. So and they're playing them at home. So they just got a big win, having beat Santos 2-1. And you know what? I made a mistake earlier, John and Chiquis. I claimed that only 3 teams had broken the 20 goal barrier. Necaxa actually has scored 22 goals, but they have allowed
Well,
17. But they've scored
I'm just going to
22.
stop you right there, Joel, and just make an announcement that this is the first time we've ever made a mistake here on the CantinaMX podcast. So
Yeah,
it is quite a momentous occasion, and we hope that we'll go another 4 years before we make our next
another
our
4.
next one.
Yeah, it's like
But yeah,
Aztecaso.
please
It's like
continue.
an
So
Aztecaso.
so you're saying Necaxa is playing well, and they have a really good offensive player and Brian,
Yeah, El Brian.
future Club America player.
Yeah, if you're one of the other teams, I'll just I'll do a very Club de Cuervos type of thing and send someone to injure him before playoffs. You
Who is
take,
the
you take that guy out, and Necaxa might deflate a bit.
who is Necaxa's coach right now?
I was hoping you would know, John. I was like, maybe John
Guillermo.
would come.
It's Memo Vasquez.
Oh
Oh, well,
man,
there you go. Well, that
the
explains
former
it.
Puma.
He's a
Quit.
good
Yeah.
coach. I don't understand why he doesn't get more opportunities at other clubs. I mean, I would love for Pumas to have him back. I mean, in all honesty, I don't know why he ever left. I mean, he goes to Pumas. He made him a champion in 2011. They got rid of him the very next year. They couldn't afford to pay him. So he comes back to Pumas. He takes them to the final. He comes within hitting the post to coming back from a 3-0 deficit against Tigres. And they get he leaves Pumas again the very next year. It's like Memo Vasquez is a good coach, and for whatever reason he just it is just absolutely bizarre. So I'm not surprised at all that Necaxa is having a good little spell here because Memo Vasquez does he is a very he had brought results at Pumas, he brought results at Cruz Azul, he was at Veracruz. I think it was last year. He actually did okay, considering. I mean, they're just a major dumpster fire. Who now, Joel, are they gonna pay the money of Veracruz to stay in, or are they gonna?
Yeah, you know what? Siboldi, the coach, after the defeat, he was saying that Cudi does have the money to pay it, but that they still feel that they let everyone down. And
Well, it wasn't his fault. I mean, they were like 30 points behind on
yeah,
the table. I mean,
it was a given.
yeah.
That was a given. Uh, yeah, it was a given, and he was saying that. And but they're saying right now, there's another play right now. Veracruz has turned into Club de Cuervos, just one thing after the other. So they're in danger right now of losing, I believe, the stadium and the name.
Oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. That just means that they've lined up other investors.
Didn't Faitelson report that the club has been sold from Kud, or that the government is now owning of the state is owning of the club and not Kudi, something like that. Like they took over
Yeah.
ownership.
Well, no, he signed a deal with the cover. Very Club de Cuervos, where they have a deal tied with the gober. Uh, and so it was in 2013, and they could use the stadium and the name. Uh, but the one condition was that they remain in first division. So now that they're relegated, technically, they could say, hey, you got relegated.
So they're
You
going to be
know,
the Tiburones Rojos de Veracruz in Chapala.
and who, man, this is probably the government asking for a kickback. Like,
Well, I
hey,
mean, the
just
reality is that for at least since I started paying attention again, in the early 2000s, I mean, Veracruz has descended what 3 times at least,
yeah,
and they don't play their way back in. They buy their way back in. So maybe it's time to put the kibosh on. I know Veracruz is a club that has a lot of history in Liga MX. They're named after one of their stadium is named after one of the great Mexican players of all
yes,
time, and so they have a lot of history and tradition, and I get that, and I appreciate teams and clubs that have that, and I think that it does add a lot to the mystique of Liga MX. But Veracruz is just so poorly run, and frankly, the fans don't deserve it. The league doesn't deserve. The name of the club has been soiled.
he has been dragged through the dirt.
Exactly, and has been ever since this guy has been there. So, if he wants to sell it, that's fine. If whatever it is, but for Veracruz to come back into the earn your way back. Don't buy your way back. It's just very very unfortunate. And if you remember, guys, we had Jason Markets on the show.
Yes,
He'd gone to Veracruz, and he said that Veracruz had the wildest atmosphere of any stadium in Liga MX. Wild in the sense that he said that you could have like they would make Cuba Libre. They're making Cuba Libres, and like that's what they sold were Cubas, and so it was
a lot of alcohol.
yeah, a
The
Like you're
lot
white,
of
going
the
booze
to
being
white,
the
served.
the white powder as well.
Oh man, we did see that in the stadium, but let's not get distracted here. Let's move on. Seventh place, Cruz Azul,
Here
18
they come.
points.
Here they come.
Yeah, the Cruz Azulinos tied with Necaxa at 18 as well, and only 1 point from fifth and fourth uh, place, which are 19. So Cruz Azul, 14 goals score, 10 against. So that's the big. That should be the red flag there. That they've only scored 14 goals, and it's pretty poor, you know. They have Cartelucho Quemado, and then the other guy, I forget his name. He came from Chaflas.
Caraglio.
Caraglio. There you go. They just haven't been able to, even even though Cruzul did come from a big win. And see, this is even more important because they beat Pachuca 4-1. So before the last match, they only had 10 goals. Which if you're Cruz Azul and you're subcampeón and you're candidate to win it, that's very poor. Especially when the top teams have double your goals.
Well, let's break that down a little bit. About Cruz
Yes,
Azul, they were in the final,
they were.
so they had about a 3-day preseason, and usually teams that play in the final, when it comes to the second season, it takes them a while to get it going again. So they did have a rough start to the season. I don't think anybody denies that. But I think that they catch their stride. If I were a Cruz Azul fan, I would much Cruz Azul for forever has started off like super hot and then kind of cooled off, and then by the time they get to Liguilla, they're in the slump. And they'll win the first round 1-0, the second one on away goals, 1-1 tied with an away goal, and then they'll lose the final. But what if this Cruz Azul gets into the Liguilla pretty hot? Then if I were a Cruz Azul fan, I would be
Well,
I would be much more bullish on their chances than anything else.
but that's a too like I agree with all that, but for the way I see it, for Cruz Azul to get into the Liguilla hard, then their strikers are gonna have to be on fire. At least one of them is gonna be right up there with some of the best that we've seen in Liga MX. Just the way Mena has been scoring, um, like Mena or Brian or even Funes Mori. I
Mm.
think they're gonna need someone like that that's gonna be able to resolve some of the games, and so that's why to me it's a bit alarming. They don't have that player, and they just lost Elias Hernandez, who played a key role last season, and he was he was just operated, and he's gone. He won't be back until next season.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Yeah. But you know, they've been on a four-match undefeated streak, 3 wins, 1 draw, and their next match is gonna be huge. They play Monterrey, so that's gonna be I think it's gonna be telling match. We'll get to
The
see
next few games are going to be tough, though. Like you said,
what do they.
They have Monterrey, they have Querétaro, which
Okay,
that'll be
they're
all right.
maybe
But
not that tough. Yeah.
yeah, Querétaro not as tough. But then they have America and Pumas, and those are going to be
Yeah.
tough.
Oh man. Imagine being knocked down, or maybe America kicking them out of Liguilla, dude, out of a Liguilla spot. Vicious. So yeah, it's
Yeah, they might have mercy, and they might save them for the
Mercy.
final.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
They'll let them be a semifinalist again, a
Yeah. Well,
subcampeón.
see, they have 18 points, and this is, yeah. They're in seventh, and
Well, how
there's
many?
just,
What jornada is it? Jornada 12 coming up. So
yeah,
there's
Jornada.
6 left. Yes, so they have 18 points. They can get 8 points in 6 games easily.
I don't know, 8 points. Let's see, Monterrey. You think they could get a point? They could get a point from Monterrey.
Sure.
That's gonna be one, but and it's gonna
Querétaro 3,
be.
that's 4. So then
Wait,
Querétaro,
the remaining 4 games, they need to get 4 points.
well,
Lobos, and
see,
Morelia.
first, they're playing Monterrey at away, so it's gonna be an away game.
Right.
So I mean, let's just say they lose that game. They go up against Querétaro. That's at home, so they could bounce back with 3 points. And then who do they go up against, Chiquis?
America.
And yeah, that's in Azteca. And let's give them a draw. Well, I'll show mercy. That's 4 points. And then
Pumas and Azteca.
Puma at Azteca, man. I'll leave that result up to you guys.
They'll probably win that game.
So then that would be 7 points.
Mm-hmm. Then they have Lobos or Morelia. They can get 1 point from Lobos or Morelia.
But Lobos has been tough, man. Lobos has been they've
been better. I'll give you that, but I mean, come on. I mean,
they haven't been a pushover.
If
when Morelia has
about trying to get points from Lobos, then you don't deserve to be in the league.
But you know what I'll say now? I think I'll put the first 6. I'll say they're favorites to qualify. Obviously, the top 4 already in. Charlo's looking pretty good. But I think from 7th up until, let me see, maybe up until Lobos, man. Even Lobos still gonna have a shot.
So who's in 7th?
7th, Cruz Azul. So yeah, we're
who's in 8?
Pachuca.
9.
Pachuca. 9th is Puebla.
10.
Santos Laguna.
11.
And then Chivas.
So Chivas went from líder de la Liga MX. Líder. A veces.
He was just waiting for that word, John. He was holding that one.
El super líder. And now they're in 11th place. That's almost Atlas-like.
Yeah. Well, it's only 3 points from 6. And 4 points from 5th.
That's true.
But yeah, I see a big fight. To me, that's gonna be the fight from 7th all the way to like 13th place. So
see, now you're just being mean because you could say 14th where Pumas is.
Yeah, but Pumas is 10 points.
They're in bad shape. They're not going to make.
I think
16 points in 6 games, and it's not going to happen. That means that they have to win. They have to win 5 of the 6 and tie the 6th. That's not.
Yeah, I think because they're at 10. If they were at 14, I would have given more of a fighting chance.
Right.
But so yeah, I see it there. But let's close off with Ranchuca at 8th. As we're giving stats before we go into the other teams. So Ranchuca, they're in 8th place, 17 points, 16 goal score, and 18 conceded. So they're at -2. Not good. Not looking too good, man. It's pretty volatile. They'll have a good game and then they have a really bad one. And that 4-1 loss to Cruz Azul could hurt them. And their next match is at home against Toluca. But Toluca has they have La Volpe, and if he saw if he saw a weakness there, I'm pretty sure he knows how to exploit it. And Toluca's been in their last 2 games with La Volpe, they managed 4 points, so 1 draw, 1-1, 1 draw and 1 win.
Who did they beat?
So that they beat. I have it right here. They beat Atlas.
Atlas.
Who so doesn't beat? Hey, but still,
fifth loss in a row.
I know, but Toluca was.
I'm not down
no,
with victory at all. I'm just making fun of the fact that Atlas has lost.
Yeah, no, Atlas has been the whipping boy, but Toluca was pretty bad, man. Everyone was whooping them. They were losing at home by like 3-4 goals. So I mean, this is not a very bad team. This was a team that was fighting campeonatos just 2 seasons ago. They had reached the final against Santos, and they were one of the top teams, and they fell from grace. So I mean, they still have some gas left in the tank.
Where it's like Rafa hire Ricardo La Volpe to coach Atlas?
That is a very good question, and John, I haven't heard it said anywhere else except right here at Cantina, which that would have made a lot of sense.
Because I mean, the only success Atlas has ever had in my lifetime was with La Volpe as coach, and then Rafa, the 1 or 2 seasons, whatever it was that he played for Atlas, where they make it as far as the final, which is just unheard of for Atlas fans. So you'd think, and especially considering all the players that came out of and they want to get the Academia back and everything else, you think that La Volpe would be just the perfect hire. I mean, you don't necessarily have to coach, but just to oversee the whole, which frankly, any fan of Mexican soccer would be yes, put that man in charge of that of the academy. There would be great.
Yeah, he could be like the sporting director.
Yeah, there he is coaching Toluca.
Well, we shall see, man. We shall see what happens with Bigoton, and that was interesting why they did not hire him, especially given how they seem to have a very close relationship, both Marquez and La Volpe. So
at what point, Joel and Chiquis, do you think that when Rafa is the head honcho now at Atlas, did he realize, oh man, I just remembered that this is Atlas?
I think they're stunning on him right about now. How do I get away from this?
Yeah, pretty.
But since we're talking about Chaflas, I'm going to Chivas because they have fallen out of Liguilla contention. They are now in 11th place with 15 points. Just like Frusta Azul, one of their big drawbacks has been they struggle to score goals. They have scored 11 and conceded 11. But how does this tie with Chaflas? That was their last win, which came 2 days after Valentine. On February 16th, they beat Chaflas 3-0. Since then, they're on a 4-game winless streak, 1 draw and 3 defeats. The last one, big loss to America at home.
A terrible loss. I mean, they were completely. I mean, in all honesty, watching that game, I mean, America as a professional soccer team, just completely, they outclassed them. They outperformed.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everything. I know that the Guadalajara had some spurts there at the end, but I mean, it was just such a well managed professional soccer match. The way that it was just clinical. The way that America took care of.
Oh yeah,
but what they did.
Which I'd say speaks highly of Piojo because he, despite what he says, he has verbal diarrhea, but his numbers with America and even in Clásicos, they're very good, man. They're positive, and he's already one of the best coaches for America as far as games won and titles and everything. And if he stays long enough, he's gonna be the top as far as like most wins and all of that is concerned. So yeah, Piojo doing a really good job. And I'm gonna say also with Chaflas because the 3-0 that was the hat trick for Alexis Vega. And he hasn't scored since.
Well, has Guadalajara scored since?
Yeah, they scored here and there. But that's their ace striker, the guy they paid. They broke the piggy bank to bring him in. And he can't.
He has 3 goals this season, all of them in one game.
All of them in one game.
Which is just Atlas's luck. I guarantee you. See, that's the other thing that cracked me up was how America was so. They knew they had him on a yellow, Alexis Vega, and they just were using all of their powers to try and get that red. And the one that cracked me up the most was when I think it was Aguilera, the America defender, when he pushed him, and the dude goes flying behind the advertising signs. There was no way that Alexis Vega pushed him that hard. I mean, just in the replays alone, it was just so obvious that the dude just jumped, and he ended up forcing Cardoso, not forcing it, but Cardoso ended up pulling him out in the first half. So you already burn a sub in the first half for a player. He's like, well, I thought he was, that he was going to earn his. He wasn't going to earn his red. It just wasn't going to happen. I mean, I think I was going to try to get him to do it, but it wasn't going to happen. And then just to have, I've already poisoned the well, so to speak, when it came to that when Molina does his when he tackles the guy and he gets a straight red, there was no way that was a straight. That was just if anything like a medium yellow. But the referee already had it in his head. Well, I better take control of this match. So here you go, and. It was, again. I mean, I tip my hat to Club America and the players. I mean, they made that happen with how they were managing the game. And again, I'm not saying that it's illegal or whatever it is. You're playing the game, and that was part of the game. It's a rivalry game, so that there's going to be some heated moments. And they played it absolutely perfect. And by the time that Chivas was down to 10, and they couldn't pass, much less score. It was just an absolutely brilliant move, and then they got the second goal, and after that it was academic that America was going to win that game. There was no way Chivas was coming back from that. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it was tough defeat, and the Chi Hermanos, they're calling for Cardoso's head, a bit unfair, but the club already. They're backing up Cardoso.
Gave him the vote of confidence, the dreaded vote of confidence.
At least to the end of the season. If he doesn't do Liguilla, then he's out, which was pretty much that's fair, and I saw that happening since he arrived. So he will be. But you know what? I think even if he does get to Liguilla, I do think. Because I see the team doing some heavy investments, and they will be stronger, and especially if JJ Mack returns, and then there's Toño Rodriguez, who's the goalie at Lobos, and he's having a very good season. He's having a better season than Gudiño, who got called up, but he still belongs to Chivas, so it'll be good to have him back, and then you have. I would say he has a bit more experience in first division. He had been getting more playing time until Cota beat him to it, but he seems he will be a good asset. So I think even if Cardoso gets to Liguilla, the team's not playing too good, and the Chivas could manage to get a better coach, I still see him getting replaced.
Well, I don't think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get a better coach because I've never been. I just. I mean, Cardoso really. Honestly, just anywhere he's been, or there's just. He's just a guy. I mean, there's nothing special in the way he plays or anything.
Yes,
I think he could be an outstanding assistant in helping attacking players.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as head coach, he hasn't shown me anything to.
Well, yeah, I agree, John. But he did have a pretty good season. He did more with Chivas than was expected last season. To the point that with a lesser squad, he managed to get more points than Mati in his previous two games. In his last two seasons with Chivas.
Well, then he has to be the greatest Chivas coach in history because if he's doing better than Matias Almeida, who apparently is the greatest coach in Chivas history.
Oh man, don't even get me started with that. But no, I was thinking Cardoso, once some of these new transfers came in, some of these experienced players like Mier and Molina and all these guys, team was gonna be a bit more consistent, but and they kind of were at the start of the season, but they've since fallen back. I still think they have some fight, but I would say just like Cruz Azul, you need Pulido, you need Vega, some of their strikers like Ronald to start scoring, because if they can't, then yeah, that's how you win games. Goles son amores. But that's pretty much it. And so I think this game is going to be pretty big for Chivas against Pumas, and I think a defeat would sink the team. they need at least to get the draw to stay within fight. So it's a big match for Chivas.
Well, Pumas at this point, if they can somehow manage to get 20 points, then I don't know how you feel, Cheekies, but that to me would be a, I'm not gonna say a successful season, but something that's at least acceptable. But to me, if they're in the teens, then it's just an absolute disaster. But we don't have to get into that. You say you want to talk about the national team?
Yeah, we're pretty much done with the Liga. We already did sort of talked about some of the what teams, what are the best games for Jornada 12. The just to recap, the top three games are going to be America Tigres, Cruz Azul Monterrey, and why not
Wow,
Chivas Pumas, just
it's like
because
a,
they're
CDMX and Monterrey cartoon crossover where the two big sides are playing each other.
yeah, those, those are and selección now because this Friday will be the debut of Tata Martino with the selección, Mexico facing Chile.
Are you and the profe going down, Joel?
Yes, sir. We will be doing the 2-hour road trip to San Diego.
It's like 40 miles away, but it takes 2 hours.
Well, for Profe's further than me.
Well, that's right. He lives in Long Beach. So is he going to pick you up?
Yes, that's the plan.
No, the game's at 7, so you're going to get there like at 3 or 4, right? You're not going to get there at 6:30.
Yeah, no, we're planning on leaving by midday.
All right.
Get there and got invited to a tailgate.
Uh-oh. What tailgate
Yes,
y'all get invited to?
it's the Corazon Azteca tailgate.
Is that the 1927 one? Or is this a
No, that's a
different one?
different one.
Damn,
That's a
Joel,
different one. The, yeah, the 1927 guys are going to be pretty tied up because the majority of them are LAFC fans, and they're going to be doing a doble jornada. A lot of traveling for them, so they're keeping it low pro, from what I heard. But the Corazon Azteca was they were one of the big fan groups during Russia, as I'm being told. They were one of the aficionados that got a lot of camera time. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, is that the Mexican-based club? Mexican-based group?
Yeah.
Mexico-based? I don't think they're out of the U.S., are they?
Oh man, see, I don't know. I just got the invite. I hear tailgate and beer, and I'm like, okay,
Whoa.
I'm there.
How did you get the hookup, Joel? What, did you catch
Cantina. We got friends in high places. No, I was just, as it happens with a lot of when there's a lot of the friendlies, a lot of the Liga MX English crew, they work for the different outlets or different podcasts. We usually hit each other up to see who's going, and a lot of times we meet up and hang out.
Yeah, but how did you hook up with the Corazon Azteca?
Oh, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, who was an original of the Cantina podcast. He was in the very first, maybe the first 2 or 3 podcasts. It's Ivan. He does photograph, and he's a very good writer. He's written for different outlets, and he's gonna be out there too, and got the invite.
Well, I mean, I'm still waiting for my invitation to go out. We haven't. Chiquis and I haven't gotten that invite yet. So.
Well, I didn't know you guys were going to the San Diego. Because if you were, then you guys would, you by default, you would be invited. But yeah.
So Mexico's playing in San Diego. The team's already in San Diego, which I think was a smart move instead of making them all fly to Mexico City and spend the day in Mexico City. They're all in San Diego. So obviously they're shooting their commercials in San Diego. And I think that was one of the things that Tata Martino was talking about as far as like the time that they have. But so Tecatito Corona did not come. Apparently he had some sort of injury.
Now they're
Which,
saying it's fate.
right. Because apparently he'd been playing for the last 3 games. So it's like, if you have this injury, then why were you playing? Porto did not say you had an injury, so all of a sudden you have an injury, and yeah, so that's a little fishy. So I think that we can. So right off from the very first call up, there's already friction between the players and the coach.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Didn't he say there's going to be repercussions to his actions?
He did. He said that he's gonna make Tecatito come on the CantinaMX podcast for 20 minutes. The next call up as punishment for
mandatory press obligations.
That's right. That's right.
And Carlos Vela also getting a little bit of apparently he.
But Carlos Vela's different. But that's different though, because no, wait. You can't say he rejected, because that would be if his name came out and then he said, I'm not going. He did meet up with Tata,
and told him no, probably.
And he probably said, don't call me up until the Gold Cup or something.
Right, because I'm trying to get it going with him. I mean, he's just starting his season, so he's not as. Yeah, I totally understand that.
And let us remind fans here how before, I think was when he was with Arsenal, he will get called up and then he'll get like a lesión, or he'll end up like just getting dropped for the week game.
In fact, when we talked to Tom Marshall about it, he said that was Arsenal loved Carlos Vela. They thought the world of him, but the biggest problem he had was getting called up for Mexico and having to go to Mexico and lose that week and then come back and lose a week and a half, 2 weeks, just recovering from the, or you come back injured or whatever it was. So in those early days, it was more of a drawback for him than it was a prize or something more alluring. So I mean especially now, I mean he is. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt on anybody's mind that outside of Zlatan, just because of that. But I mean, I would not hesitate to say that Carlos Vela is easily the best player in MLS right now.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
The reason, well, real quick, the reason that the tweet that I saw that Carlos Vela gave for not wanting to be called up was that he understands that there's a new generation coming in, and he wanted to give way to those new players. But the problem with that is I don't really see him. I don't see a replacement for him truly out of the new generation. So I think he's still valuable.
I think right there he was just being, nice.
Just being politically correct.
He's saying,
Martino said, "Dude, no offense, I know what you can do. I don't need to see you."
Yeah, I heard that also a while back.
But it's also he might not have the commercial obligations like a Chicharo might have, because they're tied with sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah, one of the reasons why they've been in San Diego all week, because there's a lot of the LA production crews are only an hour and a half away, so they could shoot all sorts of commercials in San Diego.
Yeah, I just think Vela's never been, he's never cared for all that extra stuff. But I'm glad he's taking the club serious here. Because in the past we've seen how other Mexican players would take any call up as an excuse to get out of club duty, and I see him taking the team very serious, and it's I see it as a positive.
No, I mean he obviously has embraced his role as the leader and ambassador of that team, and I would have to think Joel, that just living in Los Angeles, that I know that they have like the LeBrons of the world there and then this and that, but I've got to think that Carlos Vela is his name gets bandied about quite a bit now. I'm sure that he is become has that kind of is starting to develop a pretty decent amount of star power and pull in the city of Los Angeles. I mean, and there's a lot of competition. They have 2 soccer teams, they have 2 football teams, there's 2 baseball teams, 2 basketball teams, and 2 hockey teams in LA. So there are 10 professional teams in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Did you say 2 baseball teams?
I did.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, 2 baseball, 2 football, 2 basketball, 2 hockey, and 2 soccer.
Yeah. Dos de cada uno.
Yeah. That is that is a lot of ticket buying by fans. And I have to think that with LAFC, with the early success that they've had, I got to think that ticket's probably a little harder to come by than some folks otherwise might think. So like Juan said, it's good to see Carlos Vela embrace that role and take that role seriously. So I mean, it is unfortunate that he is on the wrong side of 30 now as far as national team stuff. But I mean, is it okay? Do we have permission to enjoy his career and his exploits? For what he's doing at the club level too, or is he only allowed to have success on the national team?
Yeah, that's where we see the fans are very, they don't take a lot of these things into consideration. They just care more for the national team and then anything else, just let the chips fall where they may.
Well, it makes it easier when he's playing with MLS teams. Also, hopefully this year he doesn't get alphaed by Ibrahimovic like he did last year. So all the best to Carlos Vela.
So the game is against Chile in San Diego.
Chile.
Friday night. I believe it's it's late, so actually be able to because I have my Thunder show, which will probably be my Thunder show is actually over at 9. So I will be able to, so I will be able to enjoy it on my way back to Austin.
I want to maybe we can, Profe, we could broadcast something from the stadium.
Well, we'll do it after because you can't broadcast during.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah, but I mean, we can certainly do some post game stuff for sure.
Probably during halftime, we could sneak out and just,
give us a quick update.
The only problem is sometimes if they don't have good Wi-Fi, sometimes the cell signal is really saturated. But yeah, you can do like a live or something.
Well, you can do halftime from the press box. You just can't do it during the game.
Yeah.
But you can do it. You can do it from the press box for sure.
Yeah, give your thoughts or whatever.
There'll be other ones doing it. So, yeah, y'all should definitely consider it.
Yeah, well, we'll try to tweet, maybe live tweet.
You can do live, and then the video will be on there. Of course, you're going to be live. Or if you want to do like a video recording and then send it to me, I can, or if you can do it yourself, I can post it on the social media. Whatever you want.
So
put a little Cantina logo on there.
We have the call up, and I'm going to guess that the European players are going to head back to their clubs after the game. Is my guess. I mean, there's really no point in them sticking around for 2 of these, and then having to fly back on Wednesday or Thursday and only have a day. So, well, I guess there's a lot of questions to be asked. What formation is Tata going to play? Is he going to do a 4-4-2? Is he going to do a 4-1-2-1? Or a 4-4-1-2-1. I mean, that's way too many. There's is he a 4-3-3 guy? Is he a línea de 4? Is he línea de 5? Is he going to start Chicharito with Jimenez, or is he going to just have one kind of pivot and 2 wingers? So there's a lot of unknowns with what how he's going to shape the team, and the reality is that he's got at least on some of the higher profile positions, he's got a lot of guys that are playing really well right now. With Raul Jimenez, who's having just an outstanding season at Blackburn, knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup over the weekend, which is no small feat. That's you can't matar a bigger gigante than that. And,
Yes.
And
he's already he's set to become the biggest transfer ever for a Mexican player.
Yes, absolutely. He's gone from 15 to 22, and the next jump's probably going to be like 38 to 45 or so.
Yeah, I was hearing in the 40s, and what's promising is that there's two other guys that could equal or surpass that with Chucky and Linus.
Right.
So it's looking pretty good for Mex heading into Qatar 2022. Let's knock on wood. Hope we don't, we don't curse. Let's just badmouth the team, so that
exactly.
Para no echar sal.
Well, Raul Jimenez is at an age, at a position that he plays where he's coming into, the most productive part of his career, with the style that he plays. Now, again, he's not the fastest guy, but Raul Jimenez is great with his head, great with both feet. He has a really good technical, for a bigger guy, he knows what to do with the ball, and that was really evident in the goal that he scored. I guess it was last week against Chelsea, where they got going on the counter, and really, he ended up scoring the goal on a, kind of shot that, in all honesty, kind of, luckily rolled in. But the pass he made from to spring his forward before he got the pass to shoot was just this crazy touch that it was the only way he could play it, and he played it perfectly. It really was he just has a great awareness of what he can do with his body, and where his teammates are on the pitch, and then again that's something that's just not coachable, and so I really do think that Raul Jimenez is deservedly, we're finally starting to see the fruits of a guy that we all knew all along had the talent and the capability to do so. So I'm glad to see that portion of his game is starting to catch up, because he really has been a really good, just an incredibly good player for Blackburn, and Blackburn they're having the best season they've had in like 50 years. So, good for him.
Yeah, for Jimenez for a while it seemed like he might not be able to outlive that golazo he scored against Panama.
Right.
The scissor kick, the Chilena goal. Was it Chilena?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to keep Mexico at the World Cup, and after that, it seemed like he hadn't done anything close to that. But what we're seeing now, that pretty much, it's testament of what he's capable of. So it was in him, man. It was just waiting to come out.
When he was at Benfica, he definitely had, he scored some big goals in the Champions League when they were the champion. He had when Bayern Munich was really strong, if I'm not mistaken, he either got a go ahead or an equalizer against them. That was just, they ended up losing the match later on, but it was just absolutely massive. Just this huge goal. So he certainly has had spurts and moments of that, but he hasn't really put it all together for one season. So it is fun to watch, and he's just an infectious player. He's a lot like, it reminds me a lot of. It sucks getting old. I can't remember the name. It was. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So we have him. Mexico has him, and then there's Chucky, who's had a good. Chicharito just had a crazy 2-goal spurt in what was like 3 minutes against Jean-Luc Picard's team, Huddersfield.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, he's that's his team. Did you not know that, Chickies?
No, I didn't.
yeah. Jean-Luc. When they made when they were promoted a couple years ago, he went bananas. He couldn't believe it.
Chiquis is not a Trekkie.
It was the.
He's a Twilight fan.
Oh, well,
Team Edward.
I'm a Riverdale fan.
And then, as far as the list that came out, I mean, there really wasn't. I mean, I don't think anybody could say, "Oh, why wasn't this guy? Why wasn't this guy?" I mean, it was a fairly decent list. It was, out of everybody that was on there, I mean, it was, there's not one thing where there weren't any quote unquote glaring omissions at all. We saw, obviously, Tata doesn't have the same criteria for certain positions as Osorio had. Namely that they have to be 6 feet tall. So we see, Gallito's back, and then some of the quote unquote, smaller players. He's obviously looking like he wants to go, use the wingbacks as wingbacks again. There's a couple of those on the team. So instead of having, 4 centrales in the back, it looks like Mexico's going to go back to having the 2 big centrales and the 2 wingbacks, and like a natural, a midfield. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. And of course, they play Chile, and we all know the implications of that. Unfortunately, we're not going to see Mexico play Osorio with Paraguay a couple of days later up in Santa Clara. So what is your expectation, Joel? Is this? I mean, obviously, win or lose, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, is Martino going to be able to start to implement what it is that he wants to do with the team? And are you going to see any signs of that in the first game, or you just think it's going to?
No, we shall see a bit of the style, at least more than anything, the style of what to expect, the style of play for Mexico, and he's counting on all the players. So I think the fans should be in for a treat, especially playing Chile. And if it should be a very open game, attack oriented, especially if Chile goes out. And I see Tata starting more with the right foot, with media and fans, as opposed to JCO.
Right. Well, he already has. I mean, Juan Carlos Osorio from the very first question in the press conference was being vilified. So, Tata Martino is going to have a bit of a honeymoon period, but it's, when that one loss that shouldn't happens is when that's gonna end, and it's gonna come down very quickly. So, but I'm sure he has. I mean, he's coached at other places where he's had to deal with that kind of pressure. So I don't think it's going to be anything that he can't handle, because it's definitely going to happen with.
I have a feeling he's easily rustled. I have a feeling he's going to be easily rustled.
But by who?
By the press.
Yeah,
he might get sassy with the press eventually.
But the press isn't gonna. They're gonna treat him with those kid gloves. So they're not gonna be as out for blood as much as they were for Osorio, or as much as they are for the Mexican coaches.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, my main interest in. I retweeted a guy who pretty much tweeted out all the stats, like all the great goals Chicharito has scored. Raul Jimenez, everyone is doing well. Chucky, I think, scored and got some assists.
Yeah, he's been scoring.
Everyone is, like in Europe, and all these Mexicans that are on the national team are doing very well. But the question is, once they get together and play together on the national team, how are they gonna fare? How is it gonna be? And
yeah, but
I can very easily see it going not very well. I mean, I'm not going to see it translate.
But these guys, they know each other.
Yeah, they've played together now for going on 6 years.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, like Jimenez, he's not new to the selección.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, I'm not sure that all this success that they're having with their clubs is all of a sudden going to come together just because they're together on the national team. So I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle a little bit.
There's no question that's going to happen. I mean, yeah. But
yeah,
again, it's not like these guys haven't played with each other before either.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to all the hype that's coming off their club success. Everyone is expecting, Raul Jimenez to score 2 goals in one game, or like just all the success translating over to the national team, which I'm not entirely sure is going to be the case. But we'll see. We'll see.
Who are you calling a wussy?
Juan.
Profe, did the Lakers win tonight?
Hey, you know what, Jan, I apologize, man. I'm coming out of a practice. I had a meeting with my team or
Did you
the
lay down the law?
management, the directiva.
Did you lay down the law, Profe?
Absolutely, dude. I'm no Matias. I'm no Cardoso. They don't push me around, man. I push people around.
Are these the U6s that you're dealing with tonight?
Yeah, no, that's El Profe Preciado down in San Diego. I got the U7s, dude. Come on.
All right.
By the way, Jan, I just wanted to mention, finally I'm able to jump back on the podcast. We're doing the LeBron thing with me, right? Where you're managing my load, right?
That's right. You were.
Sin albur.
We're watching. We're watching your minute. We're watching your minutes, bro. We want to make sure that you don't overdo it.
Yeah, boy. How's it going, everybody? Good evening. Thank you guys for accepting my call. By the way,
I didn't realize that we had that. I didn't realize we had an option to say no.
You don't have caller ID.
Profe, since we're on, maybe you can enlighten us on what does he style of formation that you know of? Is he like a really strict? This is my formation, and this is the way we're going to play, and this is just how it's going to be, or is he more pragmatic? Does he base his tactics based on the players that he has?
El Profe Bielsa Jr., Bielsa like Tata Martino. Yeah, you cut off a little, correctly.
So he's a Bielsista.
Yeah, dude. So he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna. He's one of the. You call me profe. Well, this guy's like the profe de los profes. His only profe is Bielsa. So he's coming to teach. He's not coming to adapt too much. I don't expect him to adapt too much to the Mexican player too much. I think he'll try to use the players that have the strengths that he's looking for, which might not be the best players per se.
Well, I mean, let me ask you this. So, say he's a Bielsa. When I think of the Bielsa game, I think of like a possession-oriented game where they clog the midfield with talented players, and they look to probe the other team and basically bore them to death. Make them chase, and then they pounce and they get a couple of plays, and things work out. But with Paraguay at the 2010 World Cup, I mean, he was extreme. They were absorb and counter game because they didn't have the offensive players that Chile had, where Bielsa could exploit them. So in that sense, he did adapt to the players that he had, and played a completely different style than what I would consider the Bielsa style. No, I could be wrong because I'm as learned in the Bielsa philosophy as you are.
Yeah. No, he. You know what? I don't recall Paraguay too much, but I do remember he tried to impose a style on them, and they ended up, Eagle ended up steamrolling them, right? In the 07.
Well, Hugo did, of course.
Hugo.
Hugo beat Tata, but Tata Martino made a terrible mistake in that game against Mexico because if y'all remember, it was 0-0, and Mexico was a penalty because the goalie was the last man, and he called. I think it was Nick Castillo. So it was red. The goalie would, take another player would put sacrifice somebody else, and ended up sacrificing one of their defensive midfielders instead of a forward. To me, it was like just so incredibly disrespectful to Mexico. Because Mexico was like, wait a second, we're about to go up 1-0, and you're going to take out your defensive midfielder against us, so we're going to dominate, and we're going to, Mexico ended up doing what one would expect to do to that, and they beat them 6-0. So I've never quite understood why he would do that, but he didn't get last laugh because Paraguay came within a missed penalty of beating Spain in the 2010 World Cup and becoming semifinals. In fact, they should have beaten Spain. So it ended up, in the long run, working out. And of course, the goal was on in Johannesburg on the Football de Canta panel, getting yelled at by the Mexican Germans. You're not allowed to be a Mexican star in soccer outside Mexico.
Your car noises. Your vehicle's making noise. Juan.
Let me ask you this. So Diego Lainez is going to be in the call-ups. Probably go back, like I said, with when the Europeans go back and first took a picture with Lionel Messi over the weekend, and you would have thought that he took a picture with the devil himself. Well, some of the Mexican press has reacted. This act, of an 8-year kid take someone who's obviously he's looked up to most of his playing life. Someone that he probably idolized. Do you guys see anything wrong with taking a picture like that after a match?
I could say yes, but I don't really have a problem. I see where they're coming from. There was a tweet that I saw that said, it had the picture of them both, and it said the best soccer player in the world, and Lionel Messi, and that's sort of the perspective that they're coming from. They want Mexican players to not always look at these players like Messi and Ronaldo while drooling and looking up to them like they're god figures that they can never be to, like a Mexican can never gain that stature. So that's I think the issue with that.
I'm not going to the when I see the Profe and I see just that he carries himself as Rayas at all. I always look and make sure that doesn't that doesn't affect my game. So it's probably that we're not going to say. So, I don't know if your words, but you guys are going to a tailgate.
I think you're cutting out a little, John.
Hey, Beto, so you don't have Cristiano Ronaldo tattooed on your butt?
No.
Profe,
I was about to say for Profe, if Bielsa ever comes to LA, are you gonna go and help him with his bags? You're gonna can I take your bags to your hotel, sir?
No, he's gonna set the cones like Osorio for Bielsa. He's gonna be Bielsa's cone setter.
Oh, dang. Is that true? That true, Juan?
You guys.
I'm gonna pull a Captain America and say I understood that reference.
Are you picking up Joel on your San Diego this weekend?
Wait, I thought it was next weekend.
No, it's this Friday. It's this Friday, dude.
Oh yeah, man. We haven't. I don't think we've agreed on the meeting place, but Jolie's been mentioning he's gonna polish his 1v1 skills. He's got a rematch coming up with the journalists.
Well, apparently you guys are going to a big tailgate too.
Yeah, we're gonna. The plan is to be there early. We got the LA traffic to compete with. It's Friday. Coming out of LA, we're hoping to.
It's Friday.
It's Friday, and the traffic's the worst, man, in LA.
Right. So you have to leave like at 8:30 in the morning to get there by 4 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Okay, so you guys are gonna go to this tailgate now. Now you guys you can't be stinking of beer when you go into the press box. So you're gonna have to moderate.
Well,
Remember, you're there in a professional capacity.
Just bring your cologne.
That's right.
all
Remember,
right.
you have to bring the cologne, and if you're wearing a dress shirt, make sure that the top 3 buttons are not buttoned.
Show your manly chest.
They're buying or not? Oh, not buying. So we.
No,
Wait.
I
Are
want you
you
to blend
posting the
in.
dress
I
code,
want you to
John?
blend in.
Because I was planning to roll up like in a Hawaiian shirt and like some flip
Well, when I
flops.
was in
I,
LA,
You
go
know.
ahead, Juan.
no, I think Profe showed up in a tracksuit last time. He was wearing
That's
the
it.
whole tracksuit
Was he
thing,
wearing
That's
a
huh?
his. That's
tracksuit
his.
and his
That's his
blue
Bielsa
blockers?
look. That's his Bielsa. That's his Bielsa
This
look,
is
man.
Bielsa look.
Was
Yeah.
he wearing his blue blockers too, Juan?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a blue bucket, right? A blue bucket to sit on.
but
Yeah.
yeah, this will be the third game we've been to, Profe and I, for the cantina.
Yeah.
Third,
Who buys the beer?
Wow, Jolie, I didn't realize that you were counting them. Is this
I
do I
was.
need to bring you a gift?
I have it in the calendar way. Um, who? No. We missed.
Yeah, man.
Are y'all going to spend the night in San Diego, or are y'all going to drive back?
Oh yeah, we didn't plan that far ahead, Yon.
No. The plan is to drive back. I got games on Saturday to go. But yeah, I didn't ask Jolie about. I think we can talk about it now. You were planning to.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. But I'm.
Did I
I would have to.
did
I would
I
have to ask
foil
for
your
permission.
plans,
You got
Joel?
your
Tengo que pedir permiso.
yeah,
To
because
I
get
need to get a
to get you
permission
and
slip.
Juan.
my permission slip expires at midnight, bro. So we gotta leave right after the game. I'm just kidding, but.
So, profe, I believe.
That's Jan, if you're asking if we're gonna be wearing one of our head and heading down to this place called in Tijuana called Rita's, I don't think we'll be heading down there. Not
Is
this
that where
time.
you see the live donkey show there in Tijuana? Why is it that whenever like my immediate reaction to when anyone says go to Tijuana, I think donkey show?
I've never seen a donkey show. Chiggies, you travel a lot. How was it?
Negative. I don't know what you're talking
Negative.
about.
You don't want to tell us, or
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
I mean, it just at least in this part of the world, over here in Texas, TJ just doesn't have a very good reputation, and I'm sure it's a lovely city. And in fact, I've heard it's actually really parts of it are very nice, and I'm sure it is. But of course, it's not like our border cities are jewels of the border ourselves. But
Hey, you know what, Jan? I just remember Beto mentioned to me this great taco place. It's called Mama Testas. It's out in San Diego. He said it's like a little cart, and it's outside La Cueva del Peludo. You been there, Jolie?
I don't know, man. You guys, I couldn't find it on Google Maps. Um, it kept redirecting me.
So, Joel, what time y'all plan on leaving? Like around 2 o'clock?
Yeah, or probably earlier.
Wow.
Juan had mentioned midday. I'm fine either or.
No, how far is Long Beach from Orange County?
It's like 25, 30 minutes,
That's
depending
not bad.
traffic.
That's not bad.
Nah.
And so you're gonna make Profe drive what?
Well, yeah, we're planning on it, but I mean, he is passing through here. Uh, so I mean, I don't know. We need to talk about it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's on the way for me. So yeah, I got no problem driving. I'm driving. I think
what we need to do is
one of our faithful listeners.
yes.
We have one of our faithful listeners, or two of them. They're gonna carpool with us. I think this guy wants to take a picture with Jolie. He's like his number one fan or something.
Our two, you mean our two listeners are gonna carpool with y'all?
Yeah. Yeah, man. This guy he wants like Jolie to autograph his shirt and take a picture and all kinds of stuff, dude. It's crazy.
Joel, I'm not gonna be
He's,
honest.
he's
That would make me feel uncomfortable.
Did I sign a T-shirt?
No, that we have such a loyal fan like that. You know, I want to think it's like a little creepy. You know, like you're gonna wake up. He's like, I like watching you sleep.
There's I just got an update. So there's a player conference for Chile on the 20th at 1 p.m. Well, no, it got rescheduled to 10 a.m. So, profe, if you wanna see the Chilenos up close, ask him some questions.
I still love the question.
Tomorrow.
That's Jurgen Klinsmann.
Fern. El,
Yes. God bless. Are you gonna bunker against Argentina? I shouldn't laugh. I about died when I saw that. I heard Fernando's Oscar de la Hoya voice ask this question and watched the press conference. I just died laughing. Anyway.
he actually got picked, man. That's you know. Usually it's usually when you're at the press conference, they have someone from media relations, and they usually pick the usual suspects, the people that they know, and usually from the bigger media outlets. And every now and then they'll give one of the little guys a shot at a question, and there was a lot of press there because of it was a centenario, so there was press from all over, and he got his shot. He took it, man.
Yeah,
That's definitely a highlight of the Pern.
God love Pern. We had him. He drove from Phoenix to San Francisco, which was like a 10-hour drive. and then he's in this in the stadium, in the press box, even talking to Johnny Rico about how great the puto chant is.
So tell me how close we came again to losing our
Oh my god.
to losing our status to get accredited.
Our favorite status. Yeah.
This guy, yeah, everything we told him not to do, he went and did it, man. He was like, "Hold my beer, hold my beers."
Well, speaking of John, what happened to Johnny Rico? I haven't seen or heard from him in like years now.
He's still around.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's still. I know he was campaigning to get a team in San Diego, and then for some sporting complex. He was even in the San Diego News, one of the channels. Yeah, and he went to speak to the city hall and all that.
Yeah.
That's the last I've.
Did he do the puto while he was speaking because he loved it so much?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's still writing. I know he was writing for Prost America, and I know he stopped. He used to podcast with the Mexican soccer show. I know he stopped doing that.
Well, he's been on our show before, and frankly, he was very informative. He's
yeah.
Club American history.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last game I went to, I saw him. I saw him. So maybe I'll see him again. We'll see him again at the Chile game because that's in his backyard. So I'm thinking we're gonna see him and see the other guy, Nate, who we also had in the show. I'm thinking he will be there too.
Yeah.
Cesar.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
Johnny Rico still tweets. He's spouting off politics stuff more.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why I don't listen anymore. But I want to get them both on and then ask them questions. Who was the referee that wrong that guy in 2007? Whatever game, and they'll go, "Oh, that was Heriberto Morales." Because that was the names of the refs. I want to see who remembers more names of refs, Johnny Rico or
Ron.
So apparently, the only way that many cases is when the referees cause them to lose. Because it's never their fault. It's never the other team. That's always the referees. So, to dig at my America lost checklist, so that when America loses, you can go down the list and see if the list of excuses from the America fans, and check off as many as you can as you have to, as you're forced to listen to their diatribe. So Profe, before you guys go to the game, is there anybody in particular that you're hoping to see and maybe get a good 60-70 minutes out of?
I think he lost his connection. I'll answer my question just because I have to get going. For me, it would be Raul Jimenez, just because the wonderful moment he's having, and if he could do anything like that with the selección, of course, because we haven't seen him be that contundente with the green, which will be the black on Friday. Mm-hmm. They're wearing the new black jersey. That would be something special to see.
It would be really cool if I think that's because they're doing this. They're still doing this digital thing. If they would do a digital version of the Aztec or uniform from the late '90s, that would be outstanding.
I'm sure we'll see it again sometime.
That would be outstanding. That would restore my faith in humanity if I saw the digital version of the Aztec calendar green shirt would just be wow, just be great.
Yeah, I do think we'll see something very similar to that again.
Before you go, Joel, late news from not late news, but yes, I saw news this week that CONMEBOL rejected the U.S. proposal to host Copa America 2020.
I saw that, and they said they will be inviting teams from Asia and Africa, and I think that's where a lot of the money is going to be coming from. I think I heard there was some Japanese investors. They came in, so that was unforeseen. No one was expecting that, and I think that's obviously the main reason they rejected.
I think what's going to happen, Joel, is they're going to kind of do what they did for the Eurocopa, and they're going to have the Copa America in I know they said right now Argentina, Colombia, but I think it's probably going to go to 4 or 5 countries, and then they're going to use it as a model for them to show FIFA that they can do the World Cup in 2030.
And that was the other thing for the rejection was that they didn't want to replace their cup. So there might still be a cup. It's just going to be separate, the same way the Centenario was.
Right.
So there was talk that CONCACAF, their cup, they would do something similar and also invite teams from other countries to to have this bigger cup. So a ver qué. I'm not really too concerned with that right now, Yon.
So it sounds like Copa America is getting an augmentation.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking because 2020, and then they're hosting it again in Argentina, which they hosted not too long ago. So who knows what's going on there?
Look, I don't mean to bitch about this, but I mean, if they really want to take Copa America out of South America, which obviously they don't, but if they, I mean, it's like, you know, can't they throw Mexico a bone here? I mean, Mexico has been a huge supporter of Copa America, and as far as I'm concerned, is probably the biggest reason why it has gotten as popular as it is now. Because it used to be, I mean, it was like on pay-per-view, and you had to like really, not even pay-per-view, but what was the other one? The closed circuit TV.
Closed circuit.
It was such a pain to try and find, and you had to go to.
You heard it in radio, Caracol.
You had to go to the sketchy part of town to go to the places to watch the games, and it was tough. It was tough, and yeah. So I mean, Mexico has done so much for that confederation. I mean, it really has, and for them not to acknowledge it, frankly, is just insulting. And I think the one way that they can acknowledge it is say, "Hey, Mexico, why don't you host the 2020 Copa America?"
But who knows if it's set in stone, or if they would renegotiate again? There's a lot of money going around, so we'll see what happens. I wouldn't say it's a done deal yet. Especially because ultimately you do want the U.S. market, and I know that's something CONMEBOL will like. So I'm hopeful there will be more negotiations down the line.
All right, we'll see how that turns out. Well, I think like you, I kind of have to get going myself. So
yeah.
Chiquis, you want to wrap this up?
All right, gents, I'm back. Had it on mute. Aaron, thanks for coming on. Episode 183
Good Lord.
of the podcast. We will see what happens this weekend with the national team. I will be in Monterrey. Sadly, I won't. Sadly, no Liga MX. I'd actually trade Liga MX for a national team, but thanks for coming on, Joel, John, Juan.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. And Chiquis for setting it up. We'll talk on Friday night.
Yeah, we hopefully we'll get another episode going on later on this weekend or this week. Thanks to everyone for listening, and we will have this podcast up on iTunes early tomorrow. See you guys later.